Hey, it's Jack here from the Camp Chef Culinary team, and we're going to dive into the crowd favorite of ribs. All right, just like everything else, there's many ways to cook the perfect rib, and it really kind of depends on you. We're going to talk about 4 factors today, which is going to give you the best flavor. The first one is salt, and how to salt. The salt is going to be your enhancer. That's what's going to enhance that pork flavor. We're going to talk about fat and the role that fat plays in that. That's going to carry that flavor through. All right, third factor is heat. What is heat, and how are we going to create that heat? Today we're using the Camp Chef Wi-Fi pellet grill, and we're going to be setting our temperature at 225 with the smoke setting to 7. And then last and most important thing is the U factor. And what is that? And how do you achieve the U factor? So let's dive into this and have some fun. All right, today we're gonna do a couple different styles of ribs. This is a baby back rib, and it's gonna come from the top of the pig, and the loin would actually be attached to that. So that's right here in this section up on top. And then we come farther down that rib cage, and is where you have your spare. Now your spare rib is actually gonna be a little bit bigger than this. It's gonna come out around, and we've actually cut this to St. Louis style, where we've cut that off and trimmed up the end. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and pull the membrane. Now on the back of your rib section, we have a membrane, and that's what holds all the muscle in the ribs together. Basically what I do, my method is I come 3 bones back. So 1, 2, 3 bones. I slide my knife underneath that membrane, and I just kind of work it slowly. Now your knife selection is very important. You notice I'm just using a dull butter knife. But all I want to do is just get that started. A couple different methods. Now this is really hard to hang on to, so you can either go ahead and put some rub or salt on that to make it a little more grippy, or we're going to go ahead and use a paper towel. You want to go ahead and grab that end, and that's just going to help you grip that really easy. And then you're just going to go ahead and just slide that back. You can go ahead and ask your butcher to go ahead and take that off for you too as well. All right, on the spares, it's basically the same thing, but on the spare rib, I'm just going to go ahead and start on the end here. All right, now we've got that membrane pulled off. We're ready to start prepping these ribs. Pork really doesn't have a grading system like beef does, so you really got to, trust your butcher. If we look right here, we see all that inner muscle fat inside of these. They look really good. I think they're going to turn out awesome. But remember, the more the inner muscle fat, the better. Salt's what's going to flavor the pork. I go ahead and salt this first. One other technique you can do, if you have the time and the patience for it, is go ahead and salt it the night before. Leave it in your fridge uncovered, and that's going to give you that dry brine. We're going to add a little bit of pepper on there as well, just to flavor the pork. What I want to do is I want to create layers of flavor. And the way that I do that is I want to separate the pork and the salt from the rub that I'm going to put it on. Today we're going to keep it super simple and just use mustard. Even if you don't like mustard, the mustard flavor is actually not going to come through. Let's go ahead and add a little bit of mustard on that. And again, that's going to create a separation between that salt and pepper and pork. The other thing it's going to do is add a moisture layer in there to help protect that pork from drying out in that long cooking process. Today we're actually going to do 2 different kinds of rubs. We'll do kind of more of a sweet, then we're going to do more of a hotter one right here. First thing I'm going to do is 1 part brown sugar, and then however much brown sugar you do the exact same amount or as close to in rub. We're using the Kickin' Barbecue rub from Camp Chef. It's going to give us that heat that we're looking for and the sweet. Another good one if you don't like a lot of spice is the Camp Chef All-Purpose. It works really well with the brown sugar. And we're just going to go ahead and put that over top of our rib. Now remember, I'm using that mustard as a gauge. And what I mean by that is I'm going to put quite a bit of rub on there. And I'm going to lift that up, give it a little shake. And that mustard really holds about the exact amount of rub that I really want on there. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the backside. I don't get quite as crazy on the backside. It's one of my favorite rubs on pork. This is the mango chipotle rub from Camp Chef. So good on pork chops, so good on ribs. Just really lends itself to a good flavor. I'm just going to do this straight up. Doesn't need anything else in it. All right, same thing. We're going to just go ahead and cover that. Lift it up, give it a shake. I don't press it in, I don't rub it around. I find that it just coats it real nice, and I got a great even coat across the whole entire rib. There's many ways that you can cook ribs, but man, it's just hard to beat a slow smoked rib. 225 on the Camp Chef Wi-Fi. It's just gonna give it a great result in the end. And how much time is that gonna take? Now, don't get hung up on time, because time in barbecue shouldn't really exist. You gotta cook it to when it's done. There's just too many differences in meat. Usually on, baby backs, you're gonna be 4 to 6 hours, something like that. Spare ribs, you're gonna be more closer to that 6, maybe 7 hours. Just kind of depends on what's going on. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna make up another batch. We're gonna throw them on. We're gonna do 2 of them wrapped and 2 of them not wrapped, and we can kind of see the results when we get done. Let's get these on the grill. Oh man, guys, I wish you could smell the smells on this back patio right now. It smells amazing. I'm getting so excited for this. Hey, so we've had these on for about 3 hours now, and let me tell you what we've been doing. I've gone ahead and spritzed them about every 45 minutes. So we've done 1 part apple cider and 1 part apple juice, and about every 45 minutes, give it a little spritz. I mean, you can use anything. A good buddy of mine, he uses bourbon. You do what you like to do. And the reason why I'm doing that is I'm just moistening up that dry rub. I don't want that dry rub to pull moisture out of the meat, and by having that top moist, it's gonna collect more smoke. All right, at this 3-hour mark, we've got some decisions to make. Do we want to wrap or no wrap? All right, this is the best way that I found about wrapping ribs is I'll go ahead and spray a little bit of moisture in there. Again, U factor here, you can add whatever you want. You can put butter, you can put brown sugar, you can put honey down, whatever you want this to kind of steam in. I'm gonna put it meat down, and I'm gonna do 2 layers. And so when I wrap it, I'm gonna create the seam on top. That way all those juices aren't gonna run out. All right, so we got those first 2 wrapped. Now, what are we gonna do with the other 2? This is actually my preferred method, and I'm just gonna let them ride. We're just gonna let them do this thing. We're gonna keep them spritzed. And the reason why is because I like a little bit more bite on that rib. If you really like to fall off the bone, go ahead and keep those, go ahead and wrap those, and that's gonna give you great results every time. So it's time to take these wrapped ribs off. We're gonna add a little bit of sauce. So we're gonna call these our wet ribs. Add the sauce, let them cook for a little bit longer, but don't go any longer than an hour, because that sugar is gonna burn on you. Remember, we did 2 unwrapped. Those are those 2 right there. We're gonna go ahead and do a bend test on them, see how close they are to being done. Now, depending on your liking, I'm gonna bend that and see how that's breaking off. Those will fall off the bone right there. Now on this baby back, it's gonna may take a few more minutes if you want to completely fall off the bone. But it is breaking apart, and that's gonna have a nice bite to it. So that one was really good for my liking. These are the 2 that we wrapped. And again, we've got breaking apart on the baby back. Now on this spare that we wrapped, it's really breaking apart. I mean, this is ultra fall off the bone. But let's cut into this and see how well we did. I find it easier just to go ahead and set it up on an end like this, and then just that way you can see where the bone is. Just cut right down through. Oh, look at that. They were fantastic. The wet were good, the dry were good, the wrapped were good, the non-wrapped were good. All of them were good. Just different and good in different ways. So, man, we just sure enjoy doing these videos for you guys. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We're gonna be doing a bunch more, so come and join the fun. You know what? I'm gonna go have some fun.